We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often, with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Unless you're using LifeWave. Since 2004, LifeWave has been delivering its amazing life-enhancing technology to people across the world, always helping the body do what it was designed to do, only better. And as it turns out, the best was yet to come. David Schmidt, our founder, creative force, and world-class inventor behind LifeWave technology, has recently achieved something in the field of regenerative science with a single LifeWave patch that researchers worldwide, spending years and billions of dollars, could not. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells. A true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state in a way no other product can. The secret? By harnessing the power of LifeWave's patented phototherapy, X39 uses light to elevate a peptide proven to signal the activation of stem cells. Think about it. These are the cells that generate and regenerate all the cells and structures of the human body. They're the building blocks for our organs, tissues, blood, and immune system. They also serve as an internal repair system everywhere. But as we age, stem cells become less effective. Their ability to repair damaged tissue is reduced. In fact, by age 60, they've slowed dramatically. But all that changes when just one LifeWave X39 patch is placed anywhere on the body each day. Instead of older and less effective stem cells, X39 supports the production of younger and healthier stem cells. This amazing level of control over your vitality and well-being was simply not possible, let alone this easy, until now. And the best part? Like all LifeWave patches, X39 is safe, non-invasive, and incredibly cost-effective. Look what people are saying about LifeWave X39. Backed by clinical studies, multiple patents, and 20 years of development, any one of these benefits would be impressive. But X39 is so effective, it can influence everything about your body, how you look, feel, perform, and heal. It's time you experience the power of X39. Live long, live well, live younger. Experience the power of LifeWave today.
Hey everybody, Doug here from the Frog News Network, getting ready prepping for our show tonight, but I wanted to send out this quick video to you guys about the Grow Live Academy. It's how we started live streaming. We had no idea what we were doing. I bought Ken's course and we literally went from zero to now. When we stream, the last stream we did, we had 5,500 people on the stream. Unbelievable. And here's a screenshot to show you guys. And the one before that, we had 4,000 people on the stream, and here's a screenshot of that as well. But I want to tell you how great the course is, because it taught us all about business, not only live stream. There's so many other things, the equipment you'll need to live stream, different titles to get live streams going, how not to be shy in front of the camera, how to speak correctly, all the things you need to do to grow your business and just crush your competition. The value is outstanding with the Grow Live Academy. I'd like to thank Ken Walls and everybody associated with the Grow Live Academy. They've helped grow my show into this great thing now, and I feel like I'm touching and helping so many people. So I recommended 110%. The value of what you get is incredible. Thank you, Ken, not only my coach, but also my friend. Thank you so much, Ken. All right, Mike, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do some call outs. We decided to do the advertisements before the show. All right, guys. Arizona in the house, Maryland in the house, Pennsylvania, Canada in the house. Mike.
Can't see them, brother.
I'll call them all out. All right. Illinois loves us. Toronto, Canada in the house. Florida in the house. Welcome to the show. You're live with Doug and Mike. Minnesota in the house. Welcome to the show. Wilmington, North Carolina in the house. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome.
Indiana in the house. Atlanta, Georgia in the house. California, Oakdale, California in the house. Welcome to the show. Orlando, Florida in the house. Mississippi, welcome. Phillips, New Jersey, Lake Norman, North Carolina. All right, up there with a little bit, Liz. Hello from Michigan, Center, Michigan, Wisconsin in the house. Cary, North Carolina. Welcomes. Let me see. California in the house. Buckeye Nation in the house. Welcome to the show. Salisbury, Indiana, San Francisco, California. They're rolling fast, Mike. Florida in the house. Abilene, Texas in the house. West Fargo, North Dakota. Florida in the house. Alabama in the house. Colorado in the house. Mooresville, North Carolina. All the race shops are for NASCAR. Wisconsin in the house. Gastonia, North Carolina. But of course, I click on it, another one comes up. New Jersey in the house. Welcome to the show, guys. You're live with Mike and Doug. Southeast Texas in the house. You're live with Doug and Mike.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
All right, Alabama in the house, Maryland in the house. We'll just do a few more call outs. We got a good show for you. Kimberly's going to come on and talk about telepathy. All right. California in the house, Texas in the house, Rochester, New York in the house, East Texas, Fort Mill, South Carolina, North Dakota. Somebody said telepathy's real. You better believe it is. How do you think the aliens communicate? Hi, Mike and Doug from Ohio. Hi. Not again. All right. So look, a couple more: Missouri, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Mississippi. Without further ado, I'm going to bring Kimberly. Are you ready? I'm going to bring you in. Here we go. All right, here's Kimberly, guys. We'll welcome Kimberly to the show, Williamsburg, Virginia. Last one. Kimberly's going to tell us a little bit about the subject tonight, and let her get into it. And then after she finishes what intel we got, we'll give you guys. There isn't a lot today. That's scary in itself, especially what's going on over at the G7. So I'll just turn it over to Kimberly and tell us all about your subject.
Hey, Doug.
Hi.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Kimberly.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay on this
Yes.
mic? It's
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, I want to say hi to your audience, and I also took your feed and I reposted it, Doug, while I was behind the scenes and you guys were saying hey to the house. So it's up on my Facebook page too. And as you know, the president has used my Facebook page the last 6 months for like documenting towards history. So everything on there goes into whatever we're documenting in this period of time, so to speak. So anybody can find it on Facebook too, just so that you guys know. We're reposting it, or at least I did. But tonight, what I'm coming to you for or about is we had a breakthrough recently. And for your audience that doesn't know who I am, let me introduce myself. I work for Team Trump. I started June 17th, 2015, the day after the escalator ride. And I've worked for him for 6 years. I did not go out to Washington, D.C. I stayed behind and I did a lot of work behind the scenes for the president, the campaign, that type thing. Fast forward, here we are 6 years later. And the reason that I am going into telepathic communication with you is because over the last 6 years, I've worked for the president, but what the president didn't know and the team didn't know, as I kept it very, very quiet, is that I had a little gift just to kind of know things all my life since childhood. And it was very real. And when you grow up in the, late 60s, 70s, 80s, your parents say, don't say anything. Don't tell anyone. They'll think you're different. They'll make fun of you. And so I didn't tell anybody all my life. It's been our little family secret. And I'm not the only one in the family that has this gift. And so we kept it quiet. Well, I work for the president. Now that we're on the other side, I've let them know I had this gift, and we've been documenting the last 7 months. That's what the world doesn't know, is that we have this channel on Telegram called The History of the Future. So we've been documenting everything because of this gift that I have. And going forward during the last, I guess it's kind of like you have to go back a little to go forward a little to connect these dots. But the last 6-7 months, what we all found out in Team Trump, because of my gift and because I am Serbian and I come from one of the biggest Serbian families, and because our whole family kind of has the gift, the president will back me on this when I say this, as he has all the documentation going back to the great grandfathers from my grandma and grandpa, all the way back, that we have relatives in common with Nikola Tesla. So I have this gift. This gift runs in the family. Now you can kind of see the picture, right? So that's what I'm going to talk about tonight, is how this gift developed. I've had it all my life to kind of know things. And now what we're doing in Team Trump with the military is kind of trying to pick up where Tesla left off. Because when he passed away, he had what he thought was a breakthrough in telepathic communication. And what the world does not know about Nikola Tesla is that before he passed away, he knew that everything went to Edison, okay? Meaning the cabal. He actually knew about the cabal back in the 30s and the 20s, and when he lived in his lifetime. So the one thing he did was he left out something very instrumental that they needed to make his inventions work. Okay. And he had many. And I'm not going to go into all of them tonight because we don't have time. We'd be here 3 days. This guy was a genius when it comes to knowing electric, how to work it, as he invented and perfected wireless electric in I'm going by memory. I think it was 1941, and they had already perfected it, or 43. It was perfected and tested. So with all of this, he was in the New Yorker hotel, and I don't know a lot about President Trump's Uncle John as I know about Uncle Nikola, okay? But what I do know about President Trump's Uncle John is that he went to MIT, and he was a very smart man, and he was a lawyer. And I don't know how their paths crossed exactly, but their paths crossed, and they had a chemistry that was unbelievable. I mean, this bond formed because of this chemistry they had, because President Trump's Uncle John had such a passion for the gifts that Nikola was working in, as this kind of came natural to him, and he saw the passion, and he had seeked out, that's one thing I do know, he had seeked out President Trump's uncle as he was a lawyer. But somehow this friendship formed, this chemistry between the two of them formed, and it was a beautiful thing between two patriots, and it formed a life bond that is still stronger than ever today. I guess when he was sick near the end, he made sure that only John Trump had everything that he needed. And everything was in the hands of John Trump to take it to the next level, where John Trump felt that, they had worked together. He had trained them, John Trump. John Trump saw passion, so his conscious level was already high, and Nicola could take that conscious level in him and make it even bigger to understand everything. And this guy was a genius. He really was. There's something written, I think, called Strange Genius on Nikola Tesla. And he really was, when you start looking at his background. So John Trump had the same passion, had the ability to take his conscious level and just take it and expand it. And Nicola only felt that these documents and all of his designs and his patents were only trusted in the hands of Uncle John Trump.
So you're saying that basically a lot of Tesla's files and inventions went over to Trump's uncle, John, correct? So
Yes.
when they went to the New York hotel after he had passed away and they said all the files were missing, that's where they went.
The files were already given to Uncle John as
Gotcha.
back then. It was different times. Now, Nicola was a godly, both men, Uncle Nicola and Uncle John were both godly men, but Uncle Nicola's background was surrounded by godly men, as his father was a priest, his grandfather was a priest. We have some things in common, as my great-grandfather was a priest. So there's some connections there in this whole thing. And God comes into it because the expansion of your mind and the godliness is a direct correlation. In the Bible, it talks about, or I shouldn't say it talks about, but you've seen prophets talk about and Jesus talk about how with God, all things are possible, even the impossible. And they took it to the next level. Nicola only trusted Uncle John. And I have to stress this because he had a relative at the time that wanted to get his hands on everything. And he was challenging this as being next of kin. And this man, from what I understand, and I don't know a lot as I did not research this as much, but I think he was kind of greedy. So Uncle Nicola saw through that. It was only John Trump. So the bond between these two men were like this. So now you fast forward today, and I have the gift. There are some family members that have this gift, and I'm not going to go into too much of it, as they're not here to tell the stories themselves, but I know that my cousin Shelly is already working with Team Trump, as she has this unbelievable gift in research, and she understands numbers, and she understands like the biblical end of the prophecy. So there's something to this in the family today, and what you saw back years ago. And what we come to find out is it's that kind of region and those people in there. So then you expand that and you come to find out, we know bloodlines and things like that. Well, 20% of the population has this gift. Mm-hmm. So there's an intuition, a knowing. We call it, you might hear the fifth dimension a lot. And this is all very real. And the frequencies that Nicola worked in actually are very real. And this is where the breakthrough comes in with the telepathic communication that we have been working on. All of this cabal, made Edison like their guy, and he was like the guy they worship for electric, okay? Nicola was like crazy as a fox because he left the one thing out, and it saved humanity basically today because Uncle John Trump has it, okay? So we can develop it. So fast forward, here we are. And we keep talking about the med beds. Well, that's Nicola's technology with the coil system. We're talking about wireless electric. That's there. On my page, you can see we posted a tower in Texas that went up in 2018. Everything's been being worked on the last 4 years, going backward and forward, as we always kind of don't show our hand, but this is what we've been doing. Well, we're showing our hand for the future because we want complete transparency, as everything was declassified, so we can talk about these things. And
Right.
I'm going to read what happened. I believe it was Tuesday or Thursday of last week, maybe even Friday. I really don't even remember the date, as this really happened when we started using telepathic communication with our cell phones. And Doug, you and I talked about this, as there have been other team members in Team Trump that we've used the telephone with, and it's like if you guys understand anything about flying and in the sky, how the airplanes fly, what's called an IFR flight plan, you've heard of that, correct?
Yes.
Those are like, if you, for lack of a better word, look at it as like highways in the sky. And look at it like a bicycle wheel, and there's spokes. And if you were seeing a bicycle wheel, these spokes come off in every direction. Well, those are like highways in the sky. Well, here we are, fast forward to 2021, when we can use this technology that we got when there was a deal struck when Eisenhower was in office as president. And I don't want to go back into all of that. This is actually many shows, but this is just the basics tonight. So this deal was struck. We have this technology from the civilizations up there. Many of these humanoid civilizations that are very good helping us, they're guarding these nuclear plants from the bad guys. It's all very real. But many of them can't talk like you or I.
Mm-hmm.
So when they try, do you know how they sound? They sound like birds. Like birds.
So they communicate telepathically.
Well, they sound like birds if they try to talk. And I don't think that is something like maybe between them they can understand. But with us, we have to learn how to do this. And it can be done, and it has been done. People with this gift actually have an easier time, and that's where we need to start. That's why we're searching. But we use the telephone because it has so much power in your phone that they can ping your phone a message on these frequency lines. And it can go from, let's say, a tower to the phone to your head, the thought process. And when it's happening, and this is where I got so excited. When you were in school, do you remember like if somebody sat behind you in class and they went like that to the back of your head, and it's like felt like a click, like a click.
Uh-huh.
Very lightly is what you'll feel when it starts, or a tingling. Okay, that's truth. That is how it starts when you know. And we've been doing this, and we had a breakthrough. And here is honestly, you know, when you're doing this, it's a blind eyed study. You don't know what you don't know, and you can't know because your thought process may interfere with it. This technology is 1,000 years more advanced than we are. No, we are not the smartest in the universe. We were led to believe that, but we are not.
Right.
So when you're looking at this technology, you have to kind of look at it from that point of view too. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So that kind of breaks down the basics of it. So when it happened to me, like about 2 months ago, I knew like this. I wanted to apply logic. It's not real. This has got to be a sinus infection. You know, when you're feeling this tingling, okay, and it's a tingling feeling, I gotta say, like all in here. And sometimes I can even be specific, like, okay, it's a tingling feeling just in this area, the temple side right here. So they know in the military, when we're trying this, okay, she's feeling something here that's coming alive. If they're using that section of the brain, they know what's tingling in mine. And there is a back blog that I actually talk into, and I could show you because I have my iPad here, but I won't. And this is a back blog on my iPad as it's happening to be able to communicate with them and tell them this. Okay, I feel this tingling here, or I feel this here. Well, logic wants to, rationalize this, and it's not rational. I know it sounds nuts. It sounds crazy. But you have to remember, we are 1,000 years behind where we need to be. These guys up there in this galactic alliance are trying to help us and work with us, and they're friendly. Okay, they know that we believe in God, we believe in Christ. They talk about God as being this huge light that you can't even look at, so bright in the universe. Well, if you align that with the Bible, Moses came down off the mountain with the 10 Commandments, and his face glowed so much, they say in the Bible, that no one could look at him, because it would actually like almost blind the people. And Moses couldn't look at the Lord, and the Lord let him know that. So these kind of things that we're being told by these ancient civilizations up there coincide with what we know about the Bible and God being this big force of light that affected Moses's face, in the fact that it was glowing when he came off the mountain and you couldn't look at it. So things line up, and that's how we look at this now. As technology itself is not evil, but they were using it for evil. This 1% was using it for evil. This 1% that is actually ruling the world is of the reptilian, I think they call it draconian, something to that effect. Please forgive me if I don't have it right, but it's of an alien descent, and they were living on human blood. And it's true, the shape shifting, where they can, like, I guess, get upset and their skin may change. And you sometimes notice it. It'll start with the eyes and they'll get black. Like, Doug, you pointed out that video of Biden. Do you remember?
Shape shifting, yeah, on TV.
Doug, you posted
There's
that
probably
video.
like 3 of him, but the one that day, I took a bunch of videos of it, and I showed everybody the fake mask. I showed everybody in another video actually spots coming on his face and then disappearing. That's what a clone does. That's a reptilian. It can't, in certain stresses, it starts to turn back into like a snake form, and it'll start getting spots on it. And the eyes go straight up and down and look like a snake. And they also will look in different directions when they're staring straight. This also happened to the queen when she was around a child, and it was a clone, and the kid ran around its mother and got behind it and hid. Reptilians are real. They're real clones. They look just like regular people, except for it's not a human. It took over a human's body. It's real. You're soon to find all this out after the UFO files get released and stuff like that. That's why they're drip with the UFO stuff.
Correct.
Because they have to expose that the aliens have been here since the Egyptian days. You don't think they had nothing better to do? They didn't have television, so they carved what they seen in the rocks. Correct. Spaceships, alien beings. Do you think that they did not see these people like they had nothing else to do but take a rock and carve that in it stone and stuff? You think they built the pyramids just picking up them rocks and putting them together? No, they didn't. They had help from the aliens to build them things.
You're 100% correct. And you can even take it back, John, to the Bible. And, you know, the last 10 years, there's a reason that Team Trump and our military has been in the Bible because of this. Well, I've been in the last 10 years. I don't know about everybody else in Team Trump, but I know for a fact the last 6 years because I've worked for him since the day after the escalator ride, okay? So the last 6 years, we've been in the Bible for this reason. And if you actually start comparing things, and you even take like the book of Enoch, and I can send you a copy of it, that actually helps you to understand and unlock a lot more in the Old Testament, in Genesis, and even some of Revelation and Daniel, and other parts of the Bible make a little more sense. It's not a book that was allowed in, as you have to remember, in this whole Bible was put together in the 1500s, and the first printing press wasn't even invented until 1611. So they were in charge of the Bible. So no wonder all these documents and these writings and all of this stuff they've been holding on to. Well, we would have no clue there was no printing press. None. We would have no clue. You know? So all of this kind of lines up if you look at spiritual warfare, and those of us in Team Trump that have been in this spiritual warfare understand it, and it gets very complicated. This is where the 5D chess game comes in, and you're seeing it play out. And we were seeing a lot more moves weeks in the past. You know, even if you go back to February, you were seeing many more moves. We do not have nearly the moves now, but when we make a move, the boom is much, much bigger. Do you know what I'm saying?
I believe also with this technology that Tesla had that people don't realize it, but I'm almost sure they can travel in time. How did Barron write a book in 1890? Do you know? It's just I believe there's certain people that are allowed to travel in time, and I believe 45 is one of them.
Okay, well, time travel is very real, and there's a lot of other things that we can get into. Tonight, I just am.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You're right, but it's real.
Our
And
listeners,
these are
you know,
like
I want to elaborate. We're talking about your subject, but what I'm saying is some of the same technology that Tesla had is in the satellites. That'll be the free energy that we get, the free power, and the free internet will come from the satellites. This will all come into effect once the blackout happens and everything's switched over. So my listeners know that much. I'm just trying to give them a little update, and you can keep elaborating on what you were talking about.
Okay. Well, the one thing I wanted to tell you, which was really cool last week, and I didn't get to talk to you about it the other night as things got a little confusing, but we didn't get to talk. But shortly after you and I separated, we didn't get to talk that night. I went on, and it was a video that got very messed up with the wireless mic. I don't know why, but it was every other word. But as I was trying to tell the world, hey, we had a breakthrough tonight, and here is the first message that I knew for a fact. I knew for a fact it was a breakthrough in our blind-eyed study, because the message came through telepathically, and I heard it loud and clear, and it was, there is a frequency telepathic communication can flow on. Swear to you, this is the actual notebook that I use for some of the things that come through, either in my little gift that I have, the God Dream gift, I call it. Actually, it's the fifth dimension, as it's real, since I've had it since childhood, and it runs in our family. So that actually came through, and that is so real. That was the first time last week that we all could celebrate, as I knew we are no longer in a blind night study. This is really being transmitted telepathically. And then, Doug, you and I talked a couple of days ago. I don't know if you remember, and we were talking about something, and I said to you, don't be surprised. We're trying it to ping it to
Yeah,
other
but
people.
I don't think that's something we're going to go into on here.
No, I'm just saying we're trying it within the team. Oh, no.
Everything's going too good for me to screw it up right now, so we won't go down that path.
No, I didn't mean it like that,
Well,
Doug. I would never go down that
Mike,
road.
go ahead. I know you want to say something. Come on, brother.
well, I think the thing to do is, Kimberly, is ask you when you have these sessions that, and you conquer this message like you have tonight. And thank you for your message. We appreciate it. And you conquer the message that you just delivered to us. Is it a physical thing as well as a mental thing? Does it take your energy out? I mean, just explain some of that to us.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, Mike, because I wouldn't have thought to bring this up, to be very honest with you. I didn't think like that, as this is something I'm learning about as we go. And let me point out how real God is in this, as I haven't gotten to tell you that part. When this all started to happen, I didn't put two and two together, and neither did our whole family. With some of the boys in our family were gifted, and actually all the boys were. They were gifted just to know electric. When they were walking as little tiny boys, 3 and 4 years old, they were already taking things apart on the driveway, putting them back together to know how they operate. But electric was their thing. And my one uncle was an electrician. All the boys learned electricity. And this is a true story in our family. You know how you have like shop class or something? The boys went in to their first day of shop class. They were 12 years old. And they both had the same teacher, but at different times. And the teacher had a lesson plan. And I guess when the kids came in, they were asked, what they knew in electric, because it was like the first or second day of school. And my cousin got up and told him, what he knew. Well, then by the fifth period, my brother gets up and tells them what they knew. And they knew a ton, okay? And the teacher made fun of them in a kind of a weird way by saying, oh, you're just like the other one that I had earlier today. And my brother looks over and goes, oh, yeah, that's my cousin. We grew up together. I mean, that's what we do. We take things apart on the driveway. We know electric. But he wasn't trying to be a smart butt. You know what I mean? So this gift has been in the whole family. And what I've learned about it over the last 7 months is if you try to use it, there are things that will either make it shut down, or you get like a lot of headaches because you're trying so hard to like connect and make it happen. Okay. So that's one thing I noticed, is it can drain your energy using it like the way I have been. But in a normal way, I think it's more like electric and frequencies that kind of come together. And what I do also know is I don't know, here's where it gets kind of complicated, because I don't know how much of this is them raising the frequencies, as we'll get headaches, we'll get tummy aches when they do that, because our bodies have been dummied down too. You have to remember, they changed the frequencies. These frequencies went lower and lower and lower to keep us stupid, or make us more stupid.
The dumbing down of America.
Yeah, well, it was the dumbing down of the whole world as they lowered these frequencies. And what we're discovering through everything It's kind of weird with Tesla. He called it frequencies. All my life, I've said I've operated on rhythm and energies as I can feel energies. I think we're talking about the same thing. And I'm also kind of understanding some of his works because I'm a pilot too, so I understand it. But one thing I don't know is how much they are raising the frequencies when I get a headache. Is this because I'm trying to use the information and I'm trying so hard, or is this because they're raising the frequencies? Because that's as real as I sit here with you.
Right,
They're doing it. So we don't know. There are symptoms, but are they coming from this? Do you see what
Okay,
I'm
so
saying?
people are asking in the chat, why, Doug, why don't you ask more questions? Let me say this. She could say a whole lot more, but she can't. I could say a whole lot more too, but I can't. I know a lot more, but I can't say any more about it. But she wanted to come on and discuss it with you guys. Mike, before we wrap, not the show up, but this part of the show up, do you got any more questions for Kimberly?
Yeah,
Then we'll get to a
I've
little
got,
intel.
can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
I
sir.
can.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple more questions, but
Sure.
to piggyback what Doug is saying, guys, unfortunately, there's parts of this stuff that that have been revealed or people have discovered, but still can't talk about at this point in time of the battle. The thing we all have to realize is that the war that's being fought is not just a physical thing. It's a spiritual thing. Okay. The devil even has his own frequency. Okay. When she's talking about frequencies right there, and that was going to be my next question for her, is that, you know, the Teslas were working off a certain frequency, obviously, that was of God and pleased God. And the devil obviously took advantage of that and used it to dumb us down. So do you know what those frequency numbers are, Kimberly?
Well, that's an area that really is classified. I don't think they're ever going to give those out at this point, because this can be used in the wrong hands to do a lot of damage, as it has been. Spiritual warfare is very real. Mike, what you touched on was beautiful, the way you said it, because you hit it on the head. In the wrong hands. And there's more to it. And this will come out. And we will be able to go a lot farther in these discussions as time travel is real. And you may hear about the death ray that was discovered. And Nicola didn't like that name. He always said it was the peace ray because it kept peace on earth. See, they looked at everything. And when they name things and they use these names, they've used it for evil, and spiritual warfare is evil. And the names they gave it, instead of calling it the peace ray because it gives peace to the earth, they call it the death ray, like to put the fear of God in you, because this fear, they know that fear has real power. And the people that aren't believers or don't know the Bible live in that fear, and that fear has a frequency on our earth. And I'm here to raise.
Okay, well, Kimberly, let me interrupt you for a minute. Me and Mike do know that God broadcasts on 432 megahertz. Isn't that correct, Mike?
To the best of our knowledge, yes.
And
Yeah,
Satan, when you look up the megahertz, what TV is broadcast through, it's Satan's. Okay.
666.
Because
it's 440 megahertz.
Is what the devil broadcasts on, and that's what TV's frequency's on. Just remember that, guys. You're watching television. It's telling you the vision they want you to have in your head, in your brain. And when we switch over to all these new technologies and all this new stuff, you're going to learn how to expand your mind in a way that you never knew that even existed. How to use your mind. We're probably as adults only using like 3 to 5% of our brain. And
I don't even know if it's that much.
And imagine if we could access 8 or 9%. That doesn't sound like much, but you'd be 2 to 3 times smarter. You would see things that other people don't see. You'd be able to do things other people don't do. So it reminds me of the movie with the girl where she could use more the percentage of her brain, and it was just crazy. Don't think when we see movies, this is actually what's available to the public. They have to, it's in the movies, like the mask from Mission Impossible. That's real stuff. They're using it right now. So when you see stuff in the movies, it was called Lucy, the name of the movie, where she could use more percentage of her brain. We're going to learn how to use a bigger percentage of our brain because we've been dumbed down by society and by the cabal, by the evil people in the world. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Absolutely. And we're talking about being dumbed down, not in necessarily our 2 to 3% conscious state, but our unconscious state.
Yeah, that's important.
That's the spirit part, the spiritual part of this, okay? Because when God quickens the spirit within you to life, it's in your gut, and that's where it resides. Okay, it's the people who don't, like Doug is saying, don't tame the brain and understand that your unconscious mind is going to tell your conscious mind what it should be. Okay, and then things like television have programmed that unconscious mind. Okay, throughout its life. All right, like parents not unknowingly, giving kids complexes about who they are. My name wasn't Mike when I was a kid. It was Come Here, damn it.
Right.
You see, and guys, I mean, it's a very, there's simple things in there like what I just said, but they're very powerful and they have an impact, not just in front of us, but through us. Okay. And Kimberly's sharing the things that she shared with us in the Tesla story and the Tesla stuff and how it's all coming to light and how it's all coming out. We all have to understand that in this spiritual battle, before it comes to an end, we're going to have to raise our unconscious mind. We're going to have to raise the level of our unconscious mind to raise the level of our conscious mind so that we win the battles that we have facing us here coming.
I would agree 110%. That's in line with everything that Kimberly's been talking about, Mike. And thanks for interjecting with that. And I just wanted to let Kimberly keep going because she went over the whole deal with it, and it all made sense. To me, it did anyway. I know it did to a lot of our listeners. And just to know, a lot of people in the chat don't realize that we don't take any crap in the chat anymore. When you're in there saying negative things, I've got 24 people in there now and maybe more. So if you come here to cause trouble, you'll be gone as quick as a light switch. So know that people want to be in here to be enlightened, not to cause trouble. That's the only time I'll address the chat tonight. But Kimberly, thank you for coming on and sharing all that with us. We really appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing tonight? Then me and Mike are going to do some intel for our listeners.
Oh, okay. Well, there are just a couple little things real quick. I'm hearing some chatter behind the scenes. Two things. The first one is the chatter that, you're hearing people, not you guys specifically at all. I mean, like, I don't want to call people out, but even people that have television shows or news shows on television. I'm hearing it on the internet. I'm hearing it from a lot of people where their spiritual warfare is real. And I'm hearing a lot of people saying, oh, it's going to take at least a generation to wake the people up. Let them get behind this, know that we have to rebuild this country, but they're not going to be able to do it because they need to wake up, and it's going to be at least a generation. Listen, one thing I'd like to address is never limit God. Spiritual warfare is real. If God's action and he wants to move and he wants to move quick, he can heal the earth as quick as he wants. He can heal the minds mentally, physically, spiritually, always as quick or as long as it takes. But don't be telling God, hey, we think it's going to take a whole generation. Because, see, that spiritual warfare, our words are real. They mean something. we never want to like tell him because he can move a lot quicker than we'll get our heads around. You know what I mean?
Kimberly, let me ask you a question. More than a few people have asked me, how do we follow Kimberly? Do you mind if I put your name in there to your Facebook page and to the chat?
Oh, absolutely. My
All right,
Facebook.
guys, I'm going to put this is her Facebook page on Facebook, and you can find her over there. She constantly updates everything.
I started off doing this as the president was censored. And because I had worked for him, we needed somebody in the team. And because I'm down here, work for him since the escalator ride, we've been using my page. And he's been giving the stuff to me. And now it's the entire team. When something needs to go out to the baby boomers, it goes on Facebook. And then I have the History of the Future channel on Telegram under the search. As we go into the future, I post from everywhere. But when we go into the future and we cross over, the president and Nikola Tesla, both President Uncle John and Tesla work together. Well, their electric company is coming. There would be no electric company today without Uncle John. So I started calling it TNT Electric for their last names. And I know you get censored, so I don't want to bring it up. But TNT Electric is what I call it. It is not the name, as the president will decide what that is, or somebody else. I just call it that because it came in a God dream, and dynamite, is TNT, and dynamite equals boom. So that's what I refer to it as when in that blog for Telegram, in case you see that. That's why I wanted to tell you that. I'm kind of a cheerleader for Uncle John and Tesla in the Telegram. Whenever there's anything, clones, aliens, or supernatural, I definitely like to post that on my Telegram.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up with you. I really want to thank you, Kimberly. We talk every day on the phone.
Yes.
Me and her
Thank you,
are very
guys.
close.
I have to say hi.
She is
Kimberly,
like,
thank you.
she is like one of my spiritual advisors. I ask her for advice. She is, we talk constantly. And I really appreciate you
Love you,
coming on.
Doug. Love you, Mike.
All right, babe. All right, we'll talk to you later, and then me and Mike will come out with a couple of things. Thank you once again. All right, Mike, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. What do you got today as far as intel? I'm not seeing hardly anything on the boards, but I'm going to check. Whiplash has posted some more stuff, and I'm just looking at it now. He hadn't posted hardly anything all day. And guys, I don't want to say I get all my intel. My intel guy right now is in a place where he cannot talk to me at all. He is, I can't say where he's at, but he has to give away his phone when he goes in, and he's very insulated right now. And I won't hear anything probably from him for 1 or 2 days because he's currently doing something. But when he comes back out, I'm sure because we're getting our intel from a whole different source now, a very reliable source. But he's with that source right now, and he can't communicate with me while he's at that source. He has to just go completely under, give away his phone and everything else. But with that being said, let me see if I see anything here. Mike, do you got anything while I'm looking?
No, I just want to kind of touch base back on to the Air Force One thing that we talked about on the tilt and the call signs of the plane that was going to England or the UK rather, and probably landed at the G7 at some point.
Okay.
There's a couple, 3 or 4 theories that are wandering around there, and I just wanted to share my plausible thought process of which one is probably the one that's actual, or at least seems most actual. And I mean, the plane one was delayed. They gave it a stupid on takeoff. They gave out a stupid reason why it was delayed, and the next thing you know, the call sign on the back of it was changed as well to the first time ever being Air Force One or AF1, right?
Yes.
So we on our late night show after Mark Victor Hansen the other night, we kind of we kind of deemed that the reason why it got changed is because 19 was on it when it took off. Now this could be plausible that 19 and that goofball that's supposed to be president,
Yeah, Mr. B.
Mr. B, may have both been on it. And
I think so, Mike.
does that make sense?
Well, what makes sense is just like, and this is Jeff's idea with your version of it last night. Nothing wrong with that. And then I have my version also. But Jeff made complete sense when he said that if he would have got arrested in the United States or taken down in the United States, it would have been a big deal here in our country. If he gets taken down at the G7, guys, we might not be paying a lot of attention, but the whole world, because every country is represented, basically all the biggest countries in the world, the United Nations and all that stuff are at that. So it's covered worldwide. And like Jeff said, I'll try to find me a Russian channel. I got 9,000 different channels on my TV and watch the news from Russia instead of our guarded news here to see what goes on, to see if something actually happens. Because over here, what might be blocked over in Russia, there's no halls barred. Pretty much there was an interview today with Putin, and he called Biden a fake and a fool. So if he's going to meet with him, I think that'll be the time. Wouldn't you agree? The best time for him to be taken down, and it would shock the world because the world would be watching. Wouldn't you agree, Mike? And then Trump just steps right back in.
You got to think about the wrestling or a boxing match promotion, guys. What has been promoted and built up more than anything, and that's Putin and Biden meeting at the G7. All right. So now you got Conor McGregor, who's could be Putin, talking crap, saying the fake and a fraud and a phony and yada, yada, yada.
Uh-huh.
And Biden, who says he's going to take him out behind the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
So it's being built up. Wonder what's going to happen. Well, here's what I think is going to happen, Doug, is Putin's going to arrest him.
Why not? Why not let not our government arrest him? Why not let the world court arrest him?
That's right.
Because he's involved in all kind of stuff around the world. I mean, that they want him over in the Ukraine really bad. He's committed crimes all around the world, not only in our nation. But why not them arrest him right there, right in front of him? Somebody said they heard that he canceled his meeting with him. We'll see about that. This ain't over there, over at the G7 yet. So let's just hold on to see what's going to happen over there. Of course, we don't guarantee anything. But I'm just saying it makes sense. You got to go down to what common sense. Use common sense and logic. What would be the best scenario? The best scenario is for him to be arrested out of this country and taken into custody over there. It makes the best sense. Whether Trump reappears from over there is another story altogether. But you got to know, and I think I discussed this with you before, Mike, that Putin is a God-fearing man. Even though he's KGB and maybe took out hundreds, if not thousands of people before, he still fears God. And that's why he's in it to win it. And that country capitulated to 45 as well. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. And also, guys, listen. Before we move any further and share anything else with you, you have to understand, since 2017 and Trump's first trip to Saudi Arabia, there has been an alliance built, okay? An alliance of allies like never seen before. All right, we're talking about 209 countries. 209 countries that have built this alliance to get rid of the deep state, the cabal, whatever it is you want to call it, okay? Luciferians, but that alliance has been committed and doing it the whole time. Have we seen or heard or known everything? No. Should we have seen or known or heard everything? Eventually we should. But that alliance has done exactly what they set out to do. And they've had the leadership of people like COVID-19, Putin, and Modi. Okay, and they've carried out and done things in such a humane manner that the world is becoming a better place every day. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we're grateful for that. Now let's move on to another hot topic, and that is we're inching closer and closer to Monday, the 14th. It's 19's birthday, okay, and it's supposedly the end of the Arizona audit. All right. A lot of us feel that the Arizona audit is already done and complete. They're basically just training other states right now to do the same audit. All right. There's been a list of states put out on the internet that are over there learning how to do the audit in a quick fashion, like the Arizona audit went. Okay. And the word on the street is that the Arizona audit, okay, is going to rock the world. All right.
Cool. And I heard they're about just done out there, aren't they, Mike?
Yeah, they are.
I think they're just waiting for things to play out at the G7, and then things will move forward. Like I said, I'm going to know a lot more, and like probably Sunday, because my guy, I won't be able to get with him till Sunday. But I know you're watching me tonight, and the person he's with is watching me tonight. Hi, how are y'all doing? I know you guys are watching the show because you asked me what time I come on, and I know where you're at. So, hope you're having a good time. Hope you enjoy the show. We appreciate everything you do.
Yes, Putin thinks Biden is a fool for sure. The DOJ is talking about getting involved in the audit. Okay, the current DOJ has no power, guys. It's all narrative. It's all pantomime. It's all movie.
Somebody said, "Where's Jeff?" Jeff is a guest on our show, and he comes on maybe once or twice a week, more like once a week, or when we ask him to come on. He's not a regular person on our show, so just wanted to let you guys know that we do appreciate all his intel. He's spot on. He's a cool dude, but he's on other people's shows too. So he's not only on our show; he's on other people's shows too. Somebody said Putin will take Biden out. I think that's what's going to happen, guys. You could tell he's not a big fan of the B, Mr. B. So
yeah, he's not, and I can't wait for somebody. Why not Putin to Scooby Doo his ass?
yeah, pull that mask, Scooby Doo him. That would just be too good. But whoever is portraying him, you don't know if that put his life in jeopardy. Do you know what I mean? So if they pull the mask off, that's going to put whoever that person's life in jeopardy. And they should be given the highest medal in the land for playing him, because he's under our control, not their control. Right, Mike?
Absolutely.
So guys, go ahead, Mike.
So back to the Arizona thing real quick. Arizona, and it's over 200. It's over 200 counties now throughout the United States that are looking at doing audits, guys. 238 is the number I last got. 238 counties across the United States is doing an audit. They've already started doing an audit.
What I've seen today, Mike, is that eight other states were there studying what they were doing. And some of them weren't swing states, okay? So you got to know that the other states are jumping on board as we talk. It's just going to be so overwhelming in a while that, it is what it is. Virginia got robbed as well, and I don't want to get too much into it. But in the middle of the night, 460,000 votes came out of Fredericksburg at 10:20 at night. 45 was in the lead, way up. But we'll see what's up. Yes, you're right about Virginia.
So there you have it, guys. I mean, basically, outside of the spiritual warfare, a lot of people have asked me the difference between the two Nasara and Jasaras. Okay, and I said I would speak on that tonight before we got off, Doug. If that's cool, I'm gonna
go ahead,
tell
brother.
you the difference. Okay, all right. the difference between the two is one Nasara was the Great Reset. Okay, it was called the Great Reset, and it was under the guise of the New World Order. All right, where there's one world government and one world currency. Okay, and one world this and that. All right, it was a very deep and thought out plan. A lot of you have seen it as Agenda 23 or 21. Okay, but the Great Reset was taken apart by the good guys. Okay, the alliance. So Nasara is basically going to be a global currency reset where they rid the world of the evil banking system that has been under, it's been under for quite some time now. Okay, they're gonna fix humanity, individually, country by country, and through the hand of God, and the currency is going to be reset. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. There's not going to be one world government. Patriots will rule, just as 19 said. Just as 19 said in his speech at the last G7. It's not a time of the New World Order and globalism. It is a time of patriot rule. Okay, under God, indivisible, and liberty for all.
That's it.
I hope that makes sense to a lot of people that are listening. If you have other questions, please, don't put them in the Telegram group. I'll be glad to jump in and answer them.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I also need you to, on my Telegram personal one, send me over your link because somehow one of the administrators took your pin link down in the group, and I want to get that back in there as soon as possible.
Okay, yes, sir.
And once again, guys, if you're interested in the X39, our distributors are doing an awesome job. Little bit, congratulations on making manager. She's doing an awesome job with her team. If you want to be involved with the fastest growing team in all of LifeWave, get in touch with me or Mike. We're on the same team. We're working together to change people's lives, and the product works great. It's a great product, and it's a great opportunity. So the link is in the Telegram group. It'll be pinned to the top. I'm getting ready to put Mike's back in there. I don't want it. Somehow it got taken down, but we got about 12 or 13 administrators, and it might have been accidental. And in the info group mine is pinned to the top. So whoever you want, doesn't matter to us. You can sign up and become part of this group that we're literally the fastest growing in the entire company, and it's worldwide, this company, and we're just moving mountains. It's incredible what we're doing. When you say Mike,
it certainly is an incredible time for all of us to be alive, and there's things that we're going to see that we're not going to like, and there's things that we're going to see that we're going to talk about for generations to come. Okay, and those are going to be some godly things. Don't you agree, Doug?
Yes. Everything that's happened is completely biblical. Like we said a long time ago, as Melissa Redpill says, we're living in the book of Revelations. All you just need to pick up the Bible. And I really enjoyed the show tonight. We're not going to run long tonight because we've been coming on every night, guys. I'm how you say, running off the seat of my pants. I'm on like 3.5 hours sleep. I think the most sleep I got this week was 6 hours one night, and the rest of the nights have been 3.5, 4 hours. It seems as though I have the same sleeping pattern as 45 now. Mike too. So we need to get ourselves a little rest. Mike is driven all day long. Yesterday. I can't even remember at this point from one day to the next. They just run into each other. So we're not going to go long. Mike, do you want to let them answer a few questions, or you just want to cut it short?
No, man. I'll answer a few questions. I'll be glad to answer a few questions. And man, I'd like to tell everybody that I love each and every one of you. I've had a chance to talk to many of you in chat conversations, and wow, man, y'all are resilient, loving, caring people, and that's the message that also needs to get out, is that there's more good in this world than there is bad. Okay, we tend to focus on the bad a whole lot, and think that there's more bad out there than there is good. But there's truly not, guys. I mean, just start having the conversations in your communities, just like we are here on online in our social programs, um, and you'll see how much good there is in the world.
We love y'all back. They're putting in the chat. We love you guys. We love you. We all love you. We love you back, man. That's what it's all about. God
That's
bringing us
right.
together as one person, not one person, as one. So just like we heard from Mark Victor Hansen, 1 and 1 is 2 people, but it has the power of 11 people, 2 people. Imagine the power we have when we bring in as many thousand people are watching us and bring them together and under, God's favor and the power we have with that. It's amazing. It's just amazing where it'll take us spiritually, where it'll take us in the world. And, big things are on the way, right, Mike?
Absolutely, and they're bigger than we can imagine right now, guys. And the shock and awe is going to be a tough one, okay? But like I'm saying right now, the good that's going to come from it all is going to be far greater than any of the bad. And, and it's going to be something we talk about for generations to come. And I'm glad to be able to share this time with y'all, just like I was able to share most of the day with my family and doing stuff that they wanted to do up here in Ohio. And it's been a great day. I'm so grateful to end the day with y'all as well. And we're going to have prayer here in a minute.
Okay.
All right, so let's take about 5 minutes worth of questions.
Okay. Y'all ask away 5 minutes worth of questions, and then we're going to do prayer and head on out. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. As me and Mike need to get to talking about how I'm going to turn the keys over to him while I'm gone. Just love you guys. Love you all. Pray to God. I don't answer about other people. When 45 returns, what will be? Well, that moved pretty far.
All right, so they're asking for an update on Three Gorges Dam. All right, so Doug, if you don't mind, I'll jump in on that.
Go ahead.
All right, so guys, it's my personal belief that the Three Gorges Dam's been gone already. Okay, Bitcoin is owned by the C_A, the 3-letter agency. All right, the CCP has been removed from Hong Kong. Hong Kong is fighting to get that back. I mean, the CCP is fighting to get that back. There are several countries from the alliance present in China, including the United States, that are removing the remaining faction of the CCP. Okay, all right. I would even say to Fincher that Three Gorge Dam was a black site more than just the dam itself. It was a black site. Okay, where the 3-letter agency that led it all was carrying on their ability to continue to do things like child traffic. All right, which means it was going to be dealt with no matter what. All right, what do you think BTC stands for? I mean, Doug, do they know what BTC stands for? Does it stand
No, go
for?
ahead and tell everybody.
Does it stand for Bitcoin?
I don't think so.
No, it has to do with child trafficking coin. Okay, that's what they used it for. All right, 60% of Bitcoin was controlled by the 3-letter agency. That's why it's going to disappear, guys. All right, and they continue to use those coins and that digital money to child traffic. All right, these evil bastards are going to have to be dealt with. So the 3G dam is either been dealt with and everything underneath it been removed, or we're going to see it happen. Okay, I don't know how you can't say it's already not happened. The amount of flooding and devastation over there is horrendous. Okay, and a lot of people say it's HAARP. I guarantee if they took out the Three Gorge Dam, a lot of that flooding came from there.
Right, I would say so. And here's something you should know too. there might be bad things, and this is allegedly, in my opinion, bad things under the Hoover Dam. That's the reason the water's been bringing down so much, in case they take that dam out and it doesn't flood downstream like it would if it was to the top. It's at the lowest level ever since it was built. You realize that, Mike?
Absolutely.
And so if they blow the dam, they get the people out of there, and it doesn't flood uh, like it could have killed. So it's not that a populated area, but they still need to evacuate, and there'll be less flooding and less devastation when the dam is at the lowest water level ever. I believe there's some evil CIA computers under the Hoover Dam as well.
Absolutely. Somebody's asked, let's see here, how many senators are going to be left after this goes down? Well, we've already learned that 93 of them didn't make it. That leaves 7 of 100.
Okay, how many? What would be left, Mike?
Senators.
Oh, okay, gotcha. What a shock! Well, we all knew there was tunnel under the dams, but I'm saying there's probably a Bitcoin mining computers and CI supercomputers under there. But I'm sorry. I'm just reading the chat trying to find it. Somebody told me that Bitcoin is evil. Of course it is. It's all about the kids trafficking. That's where the money comes from under the Three Gorges Dam. That's why it will be eradicated. It will be destroyed with the CI supercomputer and all of their nuclear stuff under there as well. The dam was hit with the wrath of God from Space Force several times, and all the rain. What they're going to make it look like is it was it. I mean, when the speech was the other day, 45 gave, or the lookalike, whatever you want to call him, the speech was still important. He did mention, when I bought that cheap Chinese furniture, anytime you put any pressure on it, it just collapsed. He was referring to the Three Gorges Dam.
Right.
You cannot look at that on Google Maps right now. For all we know, it could have been already collapsed. It could have collapsed last week. They're just not going to show any video of it whatsoever that would be released, or it's right on the verge of it. I mean, from what we've seen pictures of, Mike and I, 2 and 3 weeks ago, it was very close to collapsing, and there's been nothing but rain, wind, and tornadoes and light, all kind of crazy stuff going on over there.
Typhoons, all kinds of mess. The wrath of God is upon them.
I would agree. The rod of God is what it's called.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what did it, but the real wrath of God is on them. The CCP hasn't got a chance. The Luciferian doesn't have a chance.
Yes, and there's all kind of earthquakes happening everywhere, taking out the underground DOMs. DOMs are deep military bases. Okay, some of them are run by us. There was a lot of them underground railways and stuff was all used. They have railways that them little they run on magnets, and they run 12,000 miles an hour. It's crazy. It sounds impossible, but it's been going on for years underground. They've blown up all that system out there. We haven't even seen that on TV. If you ever noticed, no matter what, if you go on TV, any of the mainstream media networks, and you go to the different channels, it's the same 10 people on all the channels. The same. Now, one like OEN might have their 5 or 6 people, and then MSNBC might have their 5 or 6 senators, and then Fox might have. But where the hell's the rest of all these people? There's like 900 people in Congress and the Senate. You mean these are the only
35?
Mike, you mean that these 9 or 10 people are the only ones that can speak right now, or that the only ones that they can make doubles of? It's very expensive.
I think you hit the nail on the head on both sentences. That's the only ones that are allowed to speak, and they're the only ones that they got doubles.
Yeah, they've made the deal. Make the deal or die. And you know what?
Absolutely. I mean, somebody was asking, what do we mean by 19? I mean, Pelosi being a 19 trump card. I'm 19 card. Um, just exactly what we said when she was arrested in February of 2017. And I know we like to say in the here and now, guys, but the fact is she was arrested in February of 2017. Okay. When she was arrested then, she made a deal. She made a deal to have $10,000 worth of ice cream in a $10,000 freezer. Okay. um, and she's been playing her part, but now there's a double of her. I don't know if they've lost control of her or what, but I don't know. None of us know that. But she made a deal to sing the Arizona stuff for the whole country when it was time, and require an investigation. That's the Trump. That's the Trump card, the 19 card. Does that make sense, Doug?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I was reading a message somebody had sent me. Oh, okay. Here's some news, and I'll say it on here just one time too. Um, our moderators over in the Telegram chat. This weekend I'm going to make a set of rules. If you break them, you're out. We got 50,000 more people would like to join our Telegram group. We love you all, but some people are in there just to cause trouble. This isn't where people come to, I don't know, cause trouble. If you're going to be negative either in the chat when we're on here, or if you're going to be negative in our Telegram group, you will be put out, and there'll be a new set of rules. And not that you can't express your opinion, but you're not going to come in to try to stir the soup, so to speak. That's all I'm speaking to that. But let's wrap it up, Mike. Why don't you say a prayer for us, and then I'm gonna get me some rest, brother.
All right, let's do that. Everybody, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for another great day. We thank you for the many blessings that are being bestowed upon us as individuals and as a whole. We thank you for the blessings of being able to see your work be done here on earth and your will as well. We thank you for the grace and love that you've shared to the many of us who needed it. And we thank you for the grace and love and the peace that we've all needed as well, as this battle has endured a lot. Dear Father, we also thank you for the ability to continue to spend time with our families in a peace and love way, and it mean more now than it did before. And we thank you for the renewed vigor in the spiritual side of things as well. Hopefully everybody walks away tonight and you have touched your heart with that. And it's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
All right. Amen, Mike. Thank you. Kimberly, thank you for coming on. It's nice to hear what the things are going to come to fruition, what all the things that are going to happen, and even her explaining the thing about telepathy. It's absolutely true. It works. We all work on a frequency. That's how they're going to start healing us, with frequency and heat. That's part of some of what's in the Tesla beds, and they've actually added to that, which cured you, and added alien technology on top of that, what makes them super healing beds now. So that's something great to look forward to. I want to thank each and everybody. If we just help one person tonight feel like they've learned something, we feel like we've done our job. This is where we come together as one, and in God's favor, to get the word out about what's going on, to share your ideas, your intel, your questions, and not be ridiculed for it, guys. And that's what God would want us to do. So thank you very much for coming on tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow night, and have a great evening. God bless.
Good night.